Coming up on First at 5, the investigation against Todd Golden dismissed.
We're live at the O'Connell Center breaking down his lawyer's statements, plus
a warm-up is underway. Temperatures may reach 80 degrees ahead of this weekend. I will be tracking the rising temperatures coming up.
It's been full of a lot of distress.
Several newly filed bills could impact undocumented immigrants. We'll break down how one bill targets undocumented students. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Gator men's basketball coach Todd Golden is no longer under investigation for sexual harassment and alleged assault. Welcome to First at 5. I'm Kirsten Maselka.
And I'm Jessica Nitti. The Title IX investigation against Todd was dismissed just hours ago. We'll take you now straight to our Nicole Beltran, who's live in front of the O'Connell Center with what's next for not only Golden, but his team.
just before noon, we learned of the dismissal through Todd Golden's lawyer. UF spokesperson Steve Orlando tells me that the university found no evidence that Golden violated Title IX laws. This marks the end of a 4-month Title IX investigation. We first told you about the investigation back in November when Title IX documents that were filed in late September cited Golden was accused of engaging in acts of sexual exploitation and harassment with 2 women throughout 2024. The complaint included allegations that Golden engaged in that behavior and made unwanted sexual advances on Instagram. In a post on X, Golden acknowledged the investigation, saying, "My family and I appreciate the support we have received and remain confident the university will continue its efforts to finish its review promptly." He also threatened legal action for defamation. A statement released by his attorney, William Shepard, Monday morning cites the university dropped the investigation. Golden then released a statement to X describing the last several months as a challenge. He also expressed his gratitude towards the UAA and Gator fans. Yeah, and the team will be impacted by this. WFT's Jack Meyer will tell us more. Live from the O'Connell Center, I'm Nicole Beltran, WUFT News.
Taking a live look outside on this beautiful Monday evening. We saw a warm-up today after nearly snowing last week. UF forecaster Matthew Clark joins us now with how long temperatures will last.
Yeah, it's a much different scene out there right now. It's much warmer. Look at those temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Last week we were in the 30s, and we saw some snow, the little flurries here in Gainesville, but right now it's starting to feel like a little bit of Florida again. Look at that, 69 in Gainesville and 68 over in Ocala. It's pretty windy out there right now, which is keeping us a little bit cooler than those temperatures suggest. 17-mile-per-hour winds from the southwest right now over Gainesville. The rest of the state getting a lot of winds from the southwest as well. A part of this pressure system that's moving its way through the southeast right now. It was snowing in this region just a few days ago. It's raining there now, a lot warmer now, and that cold front is going to start to fizzle out as it heads its way towards us. We could see some rain as we head into the overnight hours, but it's a very weak cold front, so it's going to only drop the temperatures into the 50s, which are much contrast different than the 20s we were seeing this past weekend. And again, those warmer temperatures are coming. We could see a couple sprinkles tonight, but 80s are possible. I'll have that in a few minutes.
The annual point-in-time count that measures the scope of homelessness begins Tuesday. Volunteers are asked to meet at the United Way tomorrow morning. The North Central Florida Continuum of Care will conduct the survey, which is mandated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The survey aims to provide information to help better serve the unhoused population.
Florida lawmakers filed several bills that would have an impact on undocumented immigrants. WUFT's Hayli Balgobin joins us live in the studio and tells us that one portion calls to end in-state tuition at colleges and universities for Dreamers, students who are undocumented.
It's a bill. Nothing is final. But still, it has some speaking up for the undocumented and others speaking out, saying it's necessary. At the state capitol, lawmakers are in a special session at the request of Governor Ron DeSantis. Several bills could affect undocumented college students known as Dreamers. When Porter Horn, the director of Immigrant Hope Gainesville, heard about it, he was appalled.
It's been full of a lot of distress. I have clients whose dreams have been shattered, and these are people that I care about.
Senator Jonathan Martin and House Representative John Temple introduced bills repealing a 2014 law currently allowing Dreamers to receive in-state tuition rates. House Representative Anna Escamani says 6,850 Dreamers receive out-of-state fee waivers on average. She suggested 2 amendments in hopes of keeping the Dreamers' dream alive. However, neither were accepted.
It is not uncommon for us to have students who, at no fault of their own, are just trying to survive while navigating these political headwinds.
Senator Ben Albritton is in support of strict immigration mandates.
I want criminal, illegal immigrants to be deported efficiently and effectively. And the best way to do that is to follow the leadership of President Trump.
Senate Bill 20A has been filed, but no action has been taken. House Bill 19A regarding the same issue is currently under review by the Education Administration Subcommittee. Other points made in this special session include more federal involvement on the local police level and considerable changes to the proposed constitutional amendment petition process. Live in the studio, Hayli Balgobin, WUFT News.
Florida's Republican-controlled legislature will revamp immigration laws this week, but issued a sharp rebuke Monday to Governor Ron DeSantis that included overriding a budget veto from last year. The House and Senate started and quickly ended a special legislative session that DeSantis called, and then immediately opened their own special session that will focus on immigration issues. The move comes after DeSantis angered House Speaker Daniel Perez and Senate President Ben Albritton by calling a special session that they said was premature. Perez says special sessions should be used sparingly.
They should not be stunts designed to generate headlines. And the truth is, I dislike special sessions because they inhibit the very thing the legislative process should encourage, the push and pull of meaningful conversations that lead to the development of good and better ideas.
After ending the DeSantis-called session and opening their own session, the House and Senate released identical bills that will address immigration issues. However, with the annual regular legislative session starting March 4th, lawmakers will not use the special session to address the other issues raised by DeSantis.
A newly released report from the Department of Motor Vehicles says nearly 20% of crashes in Bradford County over the last 5 years happened on one stretch of highway. U.S. Alternate 301 in Stark was built in 2019. The report says there have been nearly 300 crashes on the 6-mile stretch of road since its opening, mostly in the south intersection where it reconnects with the original highway. Bradford County deputies say they meet monthly with DOT to help combat the problem, but aren't seeing many changes. In a statement emailed to WUFT, officials say there are several safety improvement projects underway.
A nearly $7.6 million deal could repair several stretches of road in Putnam County. Putnam County commissioners are meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to discuss resurfacing some of the local roads in the county. Take a look at your screen. These are the roads that will be repaired if the plan is approved. The meeting is open to the public and will also be streamed to the Putnam County Commission YouTube channel.
In less than an hour, neighbors living near Citizens Field can share their thoughts about the city's plan to bring new life to the stadium. The Citizens Field Revitalization Project meeting is happening at the Clarence R. Kelly Community Center on Northeast 8th Avenue. The meeting starts at 6:30.
Today marks the 80th anniversary of the liberation from Auschwitz, and tonight UF Chabad will host a 97-year-old survivor. In just under 2 hours, nearly 500 people are expected to hear from survivor Helga Melmaid. Tonight's ceremony serves as a way to recognize the victims' bravery and pay a tribute to their memory. Chabad leaders hope listeners take this time to learn about building tolerance for all.
Despite her going through all of those persecutions and suffering, her and her family during the Holocaust and being a survivor of this terrible concentration camp, Auschwitz, she harbors herself no hate. And that's incredible. And I think all of us can learn from that.
Goldman hopes her story evokes inspiration, courage, and bravery. About 500 people are expected to attend tonight's ceremony. Breaking ground on a distribution site that will add hundreds of jobs to North Central Florida.
Plus, 1 week after President Trump's return to office.
They're out there looking for every public safety threat they can find.
Coming up on First at 5, the changes he's made just a week into the job.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Taking a live look at the White House, where just 1 week ago, President Trump was inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States. And right now in Miami, House Republicans are in 3 days of meetings with President Trump, sculpting their legislative agenda and planning to get it passed. Julie Tesurgan breaks down Trump's decision since he returned to the White House.
I, Donald John Trump.
Sworn into office 1 week ago, President Donald Trump is already huddling with Republican lawmakers, selling them on the bold agenda he sold the American people. House Republicans meeting in South Florida over the next 3 days, finding the votes to pass Trump's plans and the cash to fund them, funding the administration needs sooner than later to pay for the nationwide crackdown on undocumented migrants.
They're out there looking for every public safety threat they can find.
From Newark, New Jersey to Miami, Florida, federal law enforcement raiding homes and businesses, searching for migrants with criminal records, but detaining others too.
I wish to remain silent.
And in Chicago, where officials from nearly 10 federal agencies conducted raids, church groups are helping migrants understand their rights.
We're trying to educate them and inform them of their rights.
Communities coming together and pushing back.
Not all of us criminals. In every race there's criminals. Not just because I'm brown, I got brown eyes and black hair.
After Colombia initially refused to accept military flights carrying deported migrants back to their home country, President Trump threatened tariffs on Colombian imports, putting the two countries on the brink of a trade war. But on Sunday, the White House claimed victory after Colombia's president accepted the migrants after all. And in another controversial move, the president fired 18 inspectors general from various agencies over the weekend, without giving Congress 30 days notice, as required by the law.
Technically, yeah, but he has the authority to do it. So I'm not, losing a whole lot of sleep that he wants to change the personnel out.
Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, part of the bipartisan push to bolster protections for government watchdogs, called for, quote, further explanation from President Trump.
And in cabinet news, 3 of President Trump's more controversial nominees will all get their chance in the hot seat this week, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a vaccine skeptic, up to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, Kash Patel to be FBI director, and Tulsi Gabbard to be Trump's director of national intelligence. All of them will get key hearings before the Senate this week. In Washington, Julie Tesurgan, NBC News.
A safe haven baby box officially opened in Ocala earlier today. The box is a last resort option for women who want to anonymously surrender their newborn babies. It is located at 1400 Southwest 6th Avenue. Each baby box features 3 silent alarms that alert first responders to the presence of a surrendered infant, and the baby will be attended to within 5 minutes and taken to the hospital for medical treatment.
More than 400 new jobs will be created over the next 5 years in the city of Alachua after the opening of a food distribution center. Keith Foods is breaking ground on a 700,000 square foot distribution center on Wednesday. The project will create more than 400 new jobs over the next 5 years for the city. The new facility will be one of the state's largest and technologically advanced distribution centers. A ribbon cutting ceremony is scheduled for Wednesday from 11 to 1.
Fire rescue crews now know the cause of an overnight fire in High Springs. Fire rescue crews say that the fire was caused by an electrical shortage. They arrived at the scene of the structure fire around 7 to 12 p.m. Crews worked quickly to contain the fire to the living room and then extinguish it. No injuries were reported in the fire.
A warm-up is underway. We could have temperatures max in the 80s.
Warmer temperatures are back. We could have temps in the 80s, as you heard. I will have that and more coming up after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
It is feeling and looking like Florida out there again right now. Look at that crystal clear blue skies overlooking our campus cam right now, and temperatures in the upper 60s. Haven't seen those temperatures in a few weeks. Just last week we were seeing overhead clouds. Didn't see the sunshine very much, but right now, completely different story. We're going to be in store for a beautiful sunset overlooking that campus cam. Getting some strong winds from the southwest around 11 miles per hour, which is warming us up a little bit. It's also warming us up in the rest of our area. 68 degrees over in Ocala, 68 in Stark, and 68 in Lake City. If you've been out and about this afternoon, it has been a beautiful afternoon. It's been pretty windy, so your hair could be kind of going all over the place. Those winds are going to start to die down as we head into the evening. A front, a much weaker cold front than we saw last week, is going to start to head through, increase increasing cloud coverage is going to start to come overhead, and as we head into those evening hours, temperatures are going to start to go into the lower 50s, have a low chance of sprinkles as we head into the early parts of Tuesday morning. Low pressure system over the southeast right now, moving its way off into the Atlantic right now, bringing in some rain to Albany and Savannah, but last week it was snowing in those regions right now. Much warmer there because this cold front is a lot less impactful for the most part. We're going to be jumping out over to the west coast. Look at that. It's California. They've been getting some much needed rain for those fires and some snow over in Arizona near Flagstaff up in those mountains. I'm only showing you this because our next system is going to be over there right now. Another low pressure system starting to form, seeing a little bit of swirlies on our live satellite. This system is going to arrive around next Friday and into next Saturday morning. So back to our area right now. Temperatures in the mid 60s in our area. We do have a front that's going to start to move its way through into early Tuesday morning. About a 20% chance of rain for our area. Nothing to write home about. Most of us are going to be in bed or just getting up for the morning for work. As we head into Wednesday afternoon, temperatures in the 70s. Thursday afternoon, more temperatures in the 70s. And then that system starts to move through Friday night into early Saturday morning. About an 80% chance of rain there because that front is going to be a little bit stronger. Going to be drying us out though. So 3-day outlook, temperatures in the 70s. Not going to be having much of a cold front from this cold front. Temperatures going to be very nice in those 70s. And then Saturday and Sunday, finally, if you've been looking for a beach weekend to go to, last weekend, not the weekend with temperatures in the 20s in the morning, but look at that sunshine overhead Saturday day and Sunday day, temperatures in the mid 70s. It is going to be beautiful out there this weekend. So look forward ahead, even though it's Monday, never too early to look forward ahead. Look at that 79 on Friday. So we could see some 80s, but the rest of the week, gradual heat up until the front moves through as we head into Friday night and into early Saturday morning. And we're still in the 70s.
Coming up in sports, we'll have more on the 4-month Title IX investigation against Todd Golden officially being dismissed. Plus, Florida's gymnastics squad moved up a bit in the rankings following a dominant showing against Georgia last Friday. Stay tuned.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Jack Meyer. The Florida Gators men's basketball team is coming off a big win over Georgia Saturday. And if there was any cloud hanging over that team, that cloud is now gone. It was announced Monday morning that UF had officially dismissed its Title IX investigation into head coach Todd Golden. Golden had been under investigation following allegations of sexual exploitation, harassment, and stalking. But since word of the investigation was made public in November, the Gators have not let it affect them on the court. In perhaps their most successful season in over a decade, Florida went 13-0 in non-conference play before knocking off then number 1 Tennessee at home on January 7th. The Gators remain number 5 in the country for a third straight week in the latest AP poll. They will be back in action on the road against now number 8 Tennessee this Saturday. Staying put on the hardwood, Florida's women's squad has struggled to find its footing in the last couple of weeks. UF lost its third consecutive conference matchup this past Sunday, this time at Auburn. Florida only managed 21 points in the first half and never trailed by less than double digits in the second. The loss dropped UF to 2-5 in conference play and 11-10 overall on the season. The Gators will return to the O-Dome this Thursday to play host to Vanderbilt. Tip-off set for 7 p.m. Meanwhile, Florida's gymnastics squad are now number 2 in the country following an impressive performance against Georgia last Friday. Florida became the first team in the nation to surpass 198 points in a single meet this season, finishing with a tally of 198.125 against UGA. Junior Selena Harris-Miranda tallied a season-best 39.625 for her second consecutive all-around victory this season. Up next for the Gators is the top 5 road showdown against the number 4 Utah Utes next Sunday at 2 p.m. Heading over to the gridiron, the Dallas Cowboys officially introduced Brian Schottenheimer as their next head coach Monday afternoon. Schottenheimer officially takes one of the most high-profile jobs in this year's coaching carousel off the board. Schottenheimer previously served as a backup quarterback for the Florida Gators' 1996 National Championship squad before working his way up the NFL coaching ladder. The Cowboys originally hired him as a coaching analyst before promoting him to offensive coordinator in 2023. In his opening press conference, Schottenheimer gave credit to his late father, longtime NFL head coach Marty Schottenheimer.
My father was a legendary coach, a great man, but he was an incredible father. And he's impacted me more than anyone in this profession.
Schottenheimer becomes the latest coach to try and get the Cowboys back to the Super Bowl, somewhere they haven't been since 1995. Jimmy Butler has been suspended indefinitely by the Miami Heat after the All-Star wing walked out of a team shoot-around on Monday morning. This marks Butler's third suspension in the last month, and with the NBA trade deadline less than 2 weeks away, it appears that Butler's time in Miami is all but over.
Wow, I mean, Jack, I know you're a diehard Miami fan. How are you feeling?
I mean, it's just really tough to see Jimmy Butler go out like this. I mean, considering all that he's already done for the city of Miami, but I mean, just like considering how messy things have been in the last month, I mean, it's very clear, like, this divorce could not come sooner enough for both parties.
Absolutely.
Speaking of heat, Matthew, one last check on the weather.
Yeah, I will say I am a fan of the heat, but I'm not talking about the Miami heat. I'm talking about the classic Florida heat, which is coming back this week, only in the 70s, but it's much warmer than it was last week this time. Temperatures are going to slowly, gradually increase as we head into Friday, which we could break 80 here in Gainesville. I know Tampa's going to see some 80s, but it feels like Florida all over again. Another front is going to come through Friday night and into Saturday. Cool us down just a little bit, back into the mid-70s.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all our social media platforms. Have a good night.